Today's learning target is I can write fractions in simplest form. Today we're going to talk about equivalent fractions. And equivalent fractions are fractions with the same value. So if you look at this example right here, this little picture. In this top picture here, we can see that there are 10 total parts to this, and 4 of them are shaded. So my fraction here is 4/10. In this picture down here, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts, and 2 of them are shaded. So my fraction here is 2/5. But notice they have the same value. They cover the same amount of space. Okay, so they're equal. So in this case, 4/10 is equal to 2/5. They're equivalent or equal. If I'm asked to write a fraction in simplest form like I am here, so I have 6/24. To get this fraction in simplest form, what I want to do is I want to find factors, common factors, that I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by. So a common factor in both 6 and 24 would be 2. So I can divide each of these by 2. And when I do that, I am left with 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 24 divided by 2 is 12. And now, are there any other common factors? Well, let's see, a factor of 3 is 3, and a factor of 12 is also 3. I can count by 3's to get to 12. So I can also divide this by 3. And now 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now the only factor in 1, right here, is 1. So this is simplest form, because the only thing I could divide both these by would be 1. And if I did that, I would still get 1/4. It would be the same answer. So that would be my simplest form. When you're finding simplest form, if you can find the greatest common factor right away, then you only need to simplify it once. So in this case, in 6/24, I know that the greatest common factor would be 6, because I know that's the highest number I could count by to get to 6, and I know that also goes into 24. So if I divide both these by 6, okay, 6 divided by 6 is 1, 24 divided by 6 is 4. So by finding the greatest common factor, you can see I skipped one step here and I was able to do it just in one. Either way is fine. It's one more step here, but both will get you to the correct answer. If you come across a fraction like this, where you're asked to put it in simplest form, and you look at it and you say, it seems like I should be able to simplify it, but you're not sure how to or where to start, or you can't find a common factor between the numerator and denominator, here's something you can do. If I do the prime factorization for each of these numbers, so for 36 and 45, which I've done here, then I can find what are my common factors. So I see here that 3 and 3, and there's another 3 and 3. So if you remember from the other day, we multiply those and we get 9, so the greatest common factor between these two would be 9. So now I can go back over here and I can say, alright, I know that 9 is the greatest common factor between each of these. Okay, so 36 divided by 9 equals 4, and 45 divided by 9 equals 5. So in simplest form, 4/5 would be my answer for 36/45. Now if I did my prime factorization and there were no factors that were the same, then it would be in simplest form. Here's an example of a word problem that'll ask you to find simplest form. So it says, Lauren measured a grasshopper for her science project. Each line of her ruler represents 1/16 of an inch. Find the length of the grasshopper in simplest form. So here's our grasshopper, and we can see it goes right here. Now, each of these is 1/16 of an inch. So that means in a full inch, there would be 16/16. So in this case, it's grasshopper measures to right here, that's going to be 14/16 of an inch. Now I could just count each line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could do that, and that would also get me 14/16. So then they wrote that down, and now they're finding the simplest form. So you can see right here, they decided to do the prime factorization method, where they found the prime factorization of 14 and the prime factorization here. Now, if it was me, I would have just written 14/16 like they did, and then I would have said, well, I can divide each of these by 2. Okay, either way works. That's fine. Personally, I think my way is a little faster here. I only use the prime factorization if I'm stuck and I can't find factors to divide it by. And once they divided that down, they got to 7/8. So in simplest form, that would be your answer.